The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. And we are here with your early access to members. So thanks for becoming a member. If you're new to the channel as well and you're watching this well after everybody else, it is just $2.99 a month to get early access to videos such as this one. Today, we are going a bit in a different direction. Are you okay, Dagger?
That's definitely going in a different direction there, yeah.
Yeah, Sorry, I apologise. I'll come to that in a second.
We're going to go in a different direction because we're normally pretty happy on this one, hence why it's called the Always Smiling Faces podcast. But we're going to...
Is that why we're called that? I thought it was a Blade and Razors thing.
Both.
Have you just
both?
I'll be damned.
It is both.
Both cocks last week.
It is both.
It's an education.
But we're going to go down and the route and speak and chat about how disgraceful Sky Sports coverage can be at times. And what we're referring to is, let's say, this isn't just Newcastle United, this is every football club apart from the big six. So, for example, let's say Newcastle are kicking off at 12:30 on a Sunday, okay? But the main event at 4 o'clock is somebody like Manchester City versus Chelsea. What annoys us about that situation is the coverage from the start of the day up until the end of the day is going to be Manchester City versus Chelsea. And that annoys you, Decker, doesn't it?
What annoys me is you don't know what time the matches kick off on a Sunday. No, it really does. And I think something else that annoys us is that, listen, I'm a massive fan of Roy Keane. Right? I think Keane is brilliant. I think he speaks a lot of truth. He doesn't really care who he's slagging off, even if it's Man United. Because I think I'm going to use...
Especially with Man U, actually.
I'm going to use Ian Wright as an example. I love Ian Wright as well, right? But he will not have a bad word said about Arsenal or Arteta. Keown's the same on TalkSport. Will not have a bad word said. Keane will say it how it is. But it is frustrating, though, where, you know, the afternoon game, let's say it's Man United against Brighton. I guarantee you now it'll be Neville, Keane, I'm trying to think, another Man United fan, Neville might be sitting there for a bit. It'll be totally dominated by Man United. Even if it's you've just said Man City, Chelsea, right? You might get Mick Richards on there possibly, but the majority will be probably Man United or Liverpool.
Yeah.
Jimmy Redknapp will be on there. You know, like I just find it's really biased towards, in particular, two teams actually. Really.
Yeah,
which is unfair.
The will often
and
have.
Here comes the other side.
No, the will often have a pundit or an ex-player who's played for one of the other teams that's involved in the
I found
games.
what they do if it does
Sometimes.
quite often if it's Man City, it'll be Shea Given because it'll be like it'll be Mike Richards, it'll be a Man City player, and someone who's played for both teams.
Yeah, that's always a key one, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they played for both. So
Stephen
like
Ireland.
Brighton Man United,
Stephen Ireland.
they'd have like Welbeck on if he, the 9 games out of 10 that he's not fit
I disagree.
and stuff like that.
And Sturridge was the one that was getting a bit of a gig occasionally.
Yeah,
but again, normally when
getting a bit,
Liverpool on. I don't know. I just think it's got its favourites, and I suppose it's a product that works. So I understand that, but it is.
Do you think it has its favourites because it works to an extent?
I think so.
Especially Roy Keane, because I love
Keane's brilliant.
whatever game it is. I love seeing Roy Keane on.
And you have to give credit to Neville as well. I know some people, but Neville's one of a kind. I think in many ways in terms of the passion that he shows, and he can't shut him up.
He's also great at reading adverts out as well. The worst.
Well, I actually wanted to move across for a second to that show, right? And I appreciate that's nothing to do with Sky, but the joke always is like, when's the next Man United player coming on?
The overlap,
stick
to football.
It's
the same principle.
It's
It's the exact same principle.
It's Sky Bet, so it is kind of still
it's
a Sky
the same thing.
vehicle,
That it's always pushing towards.
Well, Mark shaking his head.
And I'm even going to
How do you
stretch
know
it
about
even
Sky?
further
Sky
here,
for
actually.
years.
And I'm going to go away from what we're talking about slightly. The fan overlap thing that they do. It's the same 4 people for an hour. I'm watching.
Schools is not cemented a gig on that now.
Aye,
Hasn't
well,
he?
the two Carragher's doing what he does about his train tickets and that. It's all good. But there's 4 or 5 of them that it's the same Man United fan every week. It's the same Spurs fan. There's 1,000 people in the crowd. You might as well not be there. You might as well not be there and just have them 4 teams because you're only interested in the Scouse lad, the City lad, the kid, and the Man United lad, and sometimes the Spurs.
Do you not think that?
Am I right?
Do you not think
Everton,
that's a little bit because
Who's all right, actually?
I'm not saying he's not, but it's unfair though, right? There's Brighton fans there, there's Forest fans there, there's Newcastle fans there. Never getting out, never get to speak.
Well, do you want to know something about
Sorry,
because I've been to the overlap twice. Best you were there the first time.
Me, you and Adam.
That we went.
Once, yeah.
Those people that you see wearing the football shirts in the background, they're not fans.
a lot of them are producers.
They're
and
extras.
Part of extras, aren't they?
Plants.
Wow,
But
really?
a lot of
Wow.
a lot
I
of
knew that.
the content that would do
Talk more
with
sense than
those
him.
people that you're talking about is because it's clickbait stuff. It's
Yeah.
stuff that will get people annoyed. Will get them saying because this is what those creators do. They'll generate clicks because they'll have a controversial opinion or view to wind people up. It's like it's like TalkSport.
There's a whole
Yeah,
that's
Chelsea
exactly
fan,
what
that
I was
posh
going to
boy,
say.
he's always on.
Rory.
Rory, oh,
I
yeah.
think absolute knob.
But do you not think it's annoying though that it's the same faces? It's basically just
Yeah.
their show.
But there's a whole
It's not
industry
the
around it.
fans' view, which
Mark, you've made the point then. I was going to say the same thing. TalkSport. There's a whole industry around upsetting people to have them. TalkSport's to ring in, isn't it? But to get clicks, that's wherever it's come from.
100%.
What do you call him? Mark Goldbridge. It's not even his real name. He's a copper from Leicester.
What? That's actually real name.
No, he's
No,
a
it's
copper.
a fake
I found his name.
And he's not even a Man United fan.
No, he's a
Leicester,
Forest or
wasn't it?
Leicester.
Oh, that was Leicester.
But he's got an
I knew he
Italian.
was a copper.
He's an Italian sounding name, really. If you chat amongst yourselves, I'm going to find his
But
name.
this
Mark
this is
Goldbridge.
this is the case in point. Here we are sitting talking about them because
And
this
charging
is
people
what
for
it
it.
does. it's they wind you up with opinions. They'll say something
There we are.
because it'll spark an emotion or an argument from it, so that you then go and interact with it.
well, right, okay. I'm not going to disagree with that point, but if I'm going to just go back for a second to that fans, I forgot what you call it. What's it called? Fan zone? No, sorry. Fans view or something. Debate. The fan debate. The big fan debate. I wouldn't necessarily say on that show that they're saying anything outlandish or clickbaitish, right? I actually think sometimes they have some decent points on there, right? The Chelsea lads not too bad at times. The City got the kids fine. The Liverpool fans mint actually. The Scouse lad, the Everton Scouse lads
Yeah.
sound. They're not on there causing trouble or getting me to rant in the comments. But it should not be the same 6. You might as well not have anyone else there and just say these are the 6 teams we're going to talk about every week for the rest of
But
the
then
year.
you've got to remember,
That's unfair.
you've got to remember that Sky have got the other program, which was Saturday
Social.
It's the same people on that as well.
Well,
Yeah, it tends to be.
And that's-
Robbie's on there quite
Arsenal
a bit.
sometimes rock up with us a good wrestler.
That-
Is it a
that was-
wrestler guy or something?
That was
he's
going to
a big
be
lad.
one of the things I said is that
He's all right.
the ex-players that you're talking about, what you've got to remember is they're contracted to Sky as a presenter and as a reporter. So you will always get those ones appearing on it. And that's where I'm kind of saying you will get an odd player that will just rock up for the odd games because they're the ones that are booked on spec just to come along for that game.
Mhm.
Whereas the likes of the ones that we've mentioned are contracted to
of course.
be on so many games or so many programs
Yeah, but
every week.
to the original part, I think when we opened the show, and I apologise, I took it off away. Is 12:30? It's Newcastle v. It could be a good game. So Newcastle Villa. Yeah, let's go for that one.
Depends if it's home or
But
away.
when it starts, it's going to be the game will automatically be at the 4:30, and it's going to be your same old faces. And that they'll cover our game for literally a few minutes. And the second that full time whistle goes, hello, if you want anything else, go on to Sky Sports News.
You get the teams arriving at the stadium,
Aye.
and
Yeah,
all that
They've
carry on.
already discussed that game before our kickoff as well.
That's right. They've discussed that with the big ones at 4:30.
Which player would we have on there that played for Newcastle and Villa as the extra
Steve
guest?
Mann again.
Steve Mann.
Shea Given.
Stevie, aye, Shea Given.
We've got
Happy
loads.
Beer.
Abby Bates, Charles and Zogbia, Nobby,
James Milner.
Yeah, there's a few.
Milner.
Like,
Yeah, Milner. Aye.
Milner's played for everybody in the Premier League.
Fair,
Yes,
fair play,
he's
fair
a
play.
minute now. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
no,
think he's
um,
retired this year, hasn't he?
No,
I think
he's out of contract
has
this summer,
Brighton
but he's
just
still.
released him.
What's your thoughts on Carragher?
I like him.
Now, I think he's lucky to have a job, if I'm being
that's
honest.
what I was going to say.
Like, I cannot look past that, if I'm honest with you. He's very lucky to have
Because
a
the
job.
spitting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
he's
think
very
that's
lucky.
correct to say. Yeah.
And I know I'm going to mention someone's name now and you're all going to kick off. Letitia was on his podcast. I don't know if you've seen his about where Carragher rang Letitia and was saying like, "You dare say anything bad about me?" And apparently Carragher's very much like that. Where he'll
Really?
like if you
Doesn't like the criticism.
He doesn't like it. If someone says something about him in the media, he'll be on you.
Didn't know that,
Be
mind.
on you.
Yeah.
And he was also lucky, I thought, when he said that about that lass off the American TV show, and that American show does push the boundaries a lot.
Yes.
Like it tries to be very jovial.
CBS or something.
I think it is
What's it
CBS.
Was he a bit over friendly? Was he
No, opposite. So he basically
under friendly?
No, he basically accused her of cheating on her partner live on air.
Oh, Jimmy.
Okay,
Like, and-
Kate Addo.
Yeah, and she didn't. She was not happy.
Like
Like
she like
she
live
she
was
wasn't
live as
happy.
well. And she was like,
it
what,
was so awkward.
what
the
do you mean by
coverage.
that? Like just boof. And Mick Richards like looked away, and it was really awkward.
So awkward.
Oh well, you can't do that, man.
Nah, but he's
Like,
got
horrible.
form. Carragher's got form, and but then he goes missing because he'll not be on the stick to football for a week or so. He just goes hiding a bit, then he'll come back out. You know what I mean?
He was great with
That's
us
not
when we were at the overlap thing. We wasn't overlap.
What year
at the time,
was
it?
that? It was the year
day we
Reece-
signed Andy Carroll
yeah.
back, so it was 2019. It was
Right,
my eldest was just a few weeks old.
Right, so 6 years ago we're looking at.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never heard a bad interaction with a fan like from. Like,
He was lush with us.
I
He
know
was
loads of
a
people
really
that
nice fella
have
with
had
us.
trips down Austerlitz for Sky and stuff, and they've met him and said he's unreal.
I was lush.
All
He
the
was
time
at
in the world,
Tom
really,
McGlasson last summer. I didn't get to talk to him. He was just having a lovely time with the people. He seemed dead friendly.
Gary
and that,
Neville
like,
on the other hand.
yeah, very unpleasant.
Fuck me, he couldn't stay around.
Was he like?
Oh,
It was just a bit shirty with the production team and all that. Like, how horrible got something to be.
So I think it was one of the
he
first.
knew that it was.
I think it was one of the first overlaps. To be fair,
Yeah, it was.
That's why we're not really being invited back.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've had a few goals at Neville since.
the production, it's very stop-start, like constantly. You know, like obviously they put it together and it's just this one continuous segment.
Yeah.
It's not. It's constantly stop-start, or the presenter will mess up the lines and think, right, do that again. You repeat
Can't
what you
imagine
were
we
saying.
did that. We'd be here all night.
Exactly.
So like before that, to them then say like, right, so Chelsea, we're going to come to you next.
Yes.
Like prepare
Yeah.
yourself.
Well,
type of thing.
beforehand, like they know exactly who they're going to go to and what the topics are going to be. But during the gaps, Neville he clearly had somewhere else to go, and he was constantly like looking at his watch and going, "Is this going to take much longer?" Like Robert Aussie, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he has a lot of
Yeah.
things he does.
As soon as it
business-wise.
finished,
yeah, gone.
As soon as it
Well,
finished, gone.
He's taken
Out the door.
control of all that now, hasn't he? Hence the spin-off, and he's set it up as his own podcast.
It's a great show, by the way.
It is.
I think that
Stick to Football's a really good show.
Great show.
It is. I
Other one, overlap.
overlap. I never watched that.
I know. I like the Stick to
Football.
Football.
Lineker and
No,
Richards and
no,
Shearer.
No,
the
that's
rest
the
is
rest is football.
That's
Stick
the
to
rest is
Football is.
Oh, Stick to Football. Sorry, it
Stick
is.
to Football is Neville,
'Cause he called
Carragher,
it
Ian
that
Wright,
because
Joe
he-
Scott.
He kept talking about
Keane.
politics online,
Yes.
and they were like, "Stick to football."
That's right. That's
And then
right.
That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because overlaps the umbrella,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's got the segments now.
Yes.
Whereas previously the overlap was just a fan thing.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then he had that sort of
The
45-minute
20 questions.
The
walk
interviews.
with a player
Yes.
thing. We're going.
With
Oh, he
that
did. Yeah, that's
That was
right.
another great thing.
He
Yeah.
hasn't done that for a while, actually.
He hasn't. No, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
I don't mind Gary Neville, you know, like the stuff I see now, and I think he's always quite complimentary about Newcastle these days as well. And he's always waving the flag for PSR getting changed as well.
No, listen. When you talk as much as he talks, right, there's going to be a canny lot you might like and a lot you might not, because he talks about so many subjects.
He does.
And he's quite contradictory at times as well.
I don't know. There's something I don't get about him. He talks about Huel too much for a kick off, and I don't think that's not good.
I mean,
that's not a good
that
time.
is his
we
sponsor.
we do talk about Tyre Sport a lot.
Well, Kristen,
They have renewed for another season as well.
Yes.
So thanks very much, Tyre Sport.
Kristen, Amy.
I mean, you wouldn't see
Don't
us
mind that.
sponsoring, other soft drinks other than Vive, Tropical Blast Zero, and Max Cola here on the Always Blind and Faces podcast.
You actually did it better than Gary Neville as well, because he's
Yeah, he did,
horrendous
yeah.
He's bad.
at them.
But the stuff that he makes a little noise of, and the kind of groan thing that he does.
It's a new, yeah.
And it's
Carragher does as well. Yeah,
it's almost become his brand. Like it feels like he does that because he's expected to do it.
Mm.
Because he did it when Torres went around the keeper in the semi that time in 2012. That'll be now.
Yeah, it was
The-
the first
the
one he's
thing-
grown, wasn't it?
He's obviously he probably feels he's got a lot of power, and but he does say things very outlandish. I think when the Forest owner come on the pitch, and it was like before the next game started, he was live going, if I was Nuno, I would get me staff and like hand me notice in now and leave the club. And like, he made a massive statement about it. And Simon Jordan went ballistic the following day, saying, "Who does Neville think he is?" Like live on telly saying stuff like that. Like, what are you doing? Like,
It turns out he wasn't actually having to go to Nuno, was he?
no,
He
he
upset
wasn't.
an
It
injury or
was
something
about the
like that,
injury.
yeah.
No, apparently, I'm not saying he.
The VAR wasn't it? I called like
There's all sorts of
just VAR.
Yeah.
I don't mind Neville. It's just
So sticking with the overlap and stick to football, that does annoy me as well. Your tummy.
It's not me, honestly, it's because I've had loads of pops, so I need to pump.
All right, okay.
I mean, I was once stuck on a bus in the
Excuse
south
me,
of France.
Vive Tropical Blast Zero Sugar does not give you wind. It must have been something else you drank before
You're
coming
stuck on
along.
a bus.
In the south of France, right? So in 1996, I went my comprehensive school. We went to Italy, but we drove there on a bus. So it took about a day and a half to get down to Lake Garda where we stayed.
Okay.
And the engine fell out of the bus in the south of France.
Doesn't sound like your
Come on,
boat.
And now we couldn't get off the bus because we're in the south of France, the door opens onto the motorway.
Mhm.
So I sat on this bus for about 10 hours doing nothing, and I couldn't pump. I was desperate. We couldn't go to a service station. I had loads of a couple of pot noodles, and I was like, and ever since, like,
How did you cook the pot noodles?
Eh?
How did you cook the pot noodles?
It had a hot
Take
water.
them dry.
It had a hot
Just dust in his face.
Get crunchy.
just kind of held me armpit over it for half an hour or so.
It was that sweaty you could wring yourself out.
It was, and warm.
Very salty, this pot noodle. Must be the soy sauce.
We had a hot
Chicken
water,
mushroom.
like what a kettle down was a bus had a little kind of kettle station downstairs, so we'd go down there. The bus
fancy.
stunk. The pot noodle was horrible. But they want to pump, so I held me pumps in for ages.
Why didn't you go to the toilet?
I don't
All right, Gary
recall there was a toilet on the bus. Fair play. I don't think it was a toilet on the bus. So I'm holding these pumps in for ages, and then my stomach started making weird noises, and now it does it all the time.
So
I think I've ruptured
bus-
something.
the bus had a kettle station, but not a toilet.
I think
I can't help thinking this might be
You forgot what happened.
No,
never
no,
seen
no,
a
no,
bus
no,
with a kettle
I believe that to be
station
correct.
before, I don't
I
think
believe that to be correct.
I actually will give you this because you do see on buses that have like a sink.
Yeah,
and a very hot
water tap thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Would that have a toilet?
They'll definitely have a toilet.
I think there might have been memory
Because
because
the sink's normally on top of the toilet.
it was a double decker bus. I was on the top deck, so all the cool kids, obviously, and come down the stairs, and it was right to the right hand side. There was it was a double decker bus, but only the front half of the bottom deck was like usable. The back bit was like all luggage, and it was probably just a big hot water thing and an engine that didn't work apparently. But no, I remember, and yes, I think I've held pumps in for that long that something's really gone wrong on me insides and hasn't been fixed. I can't fix it. I'm too long in the tooth. I'm not going to fix it. But when I drink pop, it makes noises. But I remember on about having a kettle and not a toilet. We played Norwich away. I forget what year it was. One of the years I went down there. I stayed at this hotel. Was it £11 each for a night in this hotel? It was grim
seems
business,
very
let me
reasonable.
tell you, out on Earlham Road and east of the West of the City Centre. And I went in. It was me, Taylor, and my dad went down. Got a room each. I've got a room each this one year. We went in. Taylor was going to go to the room, and the fella says, "Oh no, sorry, we're making your bed." And you think, fair enough, but not actually making his bed.
Building it.
Yeah, screws and stuff like Allen keys and that.
That reminds me of when I went to Blackpool on a stag do once.
This is my
and
story,
we
Mark.
stayed in the Malibu hotel, and my bed was made from 4 pallets. 4 pallets with a mattress on the top.
Taylor's bed was being made. My bedroom was this big long thing it was a tiny little TV over the door that you couldn't. It was like used an ornament. I had a fridge, I had a kettle, but no tap.
On becoming handy.
Yeah. And I forget how. Yeah, so it was like in the shower room. I'll show you this before.
No.
Oh, Chris, but the shower room. I didn't have an ensuite, obviously, because no water in the room and all that. And this hotel was bizarre, man. Honestly, I'd love to stay there again just because it's so weird. I've got to save my favorite photograph, so this shouldn't take too long. He said, "Fill in time, never go favorites." So the shower room, Chris, right? And this is going to work better as a.
You're gonna have to get this photo and put it on the
That
screen.
was the door of the.
Fuck me. What's up with that? Why is it like that?
What is going on?
Why I couldn't figure that out straight away.
I'll do it for the camera.
Well, just send him the picture and he can put it on screen.
Get closer.
Get closer, yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Sorry, audio listeners, but you need to watch the video just to see what Bestie's showing everybody right now.
Wow.
That is mental.
I
took
don't
my brain
understand-
time
I
to
don't
work that out.
understand that.
So that was in the championship season.
Why would somebody do that to? Don't think that was normal behavior.
Like people do that with wheelie bins. with the numbers.
Aye, but like,
It's just they've put it on upside down, basically. I mean, that's the problem.
well, the door.
Maybe so.
Wow. Shall we get back to Gary Neville and just? Oh, shall we just end it?
well, it took my mind to somewhere else because we talked about all of the panel and stuff like that, and obviously a big thing changing panel wise for the coming season is the end of Gary
Real
Lineker on Match of the Day.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
That's sad, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's
He's had a
Awful.
great career there, mind.
he has. Like, I think to be fair, I think the time's been coming as well, hasn't it? And then he's obviously done whatever he's done. He's seen it was a mistake, etc. And he's decided to. But he's got a lot of fingers and pies, hasn't he, in terms of his own production company and stuff. And what have you.
Goal Hanger, I think his
That's
podcast
right.
production company would be.
That's
But
right.
I've heard about the money that Alistair Campbell and
Which
Ron
his son
Stewart
is
run.
the producer of.
His son Ben, is it? He's Ben Lynn. Is that Ben? Harry
Harry, yeah.
is a producer. He does the rest is football. So I don't know if he does the other ones.
But there's loads of them now, isn't there?
But
The
you've
rest
got
is politics,
football,
rest is whatever. There's loads of
Entertainment
them.
with Richard
Yeah.
Osman and Marina Hyde and all that. Like, and he'd be doing very well out of that. Like
I listen to the rest of politics one actually. I have from the same sort of family.
Alistair Campbell and Rory
That's
Stewart.
right,
Yeah. No, he's doing really well with that. I think it's one of those things where it was so careless. Can you remember when it was when Meghan Markle and her fella Harry had the baby,
Mhm.
and Danny Baker put out a picture of a monkey,
Yes.
and it was like, I don't think he's meant to be racist there.
Yep.
But that is a racist thing to do.
Yep.
Lineker, the thing Lineker did with it was like the pro-Palestine. I agreed with what the message was in the thing, but it's the rat.
I think he
picture
didn't
thing.
see that. He said he did.
As soon as that's on there, you're in trouble. Like if me or you do that, we're sacked. You might as well do it.
I'm not long to go.
But yeah, he had to go. And I say
Don't do it. You'll not get your payout.
I was
the,
thinking
the,
that,
yeah, oh, no, don't do it. Don't take my advice. The wider kind of thing, the message that was, I think, was correct, but that made it that made it a real problem. That, and I think it was right that he went, but he won't miss it. And I'll like Gary Lineker a lot. I think he was very careless in what he did there. But he's just signed a new deal with is it DAZN or something like that?
DAZN.
DAZN, is that how it's pronounced? DAZN.
Yeah, DAZN.
Is that like the weekend where it's just they just don't bother with vowels?
Sounds like one of those German nightclubs again.
DAZN, I was in Dusseldorf. That was where I lost
yeah,
it.
it's, I mean, it's like what I think he was just shy of 25 years on the
about that.
on Match of the Day.
Do you know
He said,
what I
and
think
obviously, like the big one before that was Des Lynam, and you know when he went, I thought, wow, that's because that did really feel like the end of an era and a huge change then. And then obviously Lineker came in, and here we are, you know, quarter of a century down the line, and
He's done really well job being a host, like just hosting the show.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I mean? For all them years, like it's quite incredible actually. Really
Hard
good.
work.
you know,
Brilliant.
he was improving going into that as well. Really,
was.
like
he wasn't great when he started. He got the videos of his first. I mean, he started a Match of the Day after he retired when he came back from Japan, and he was lousy, to be honest with you. And he's done really, really well. But he's older than Des Lynam was when he left as well, which is strange because Des Lynam seemed like he was 100.
you wouldn't think it, like, would you, like
No.
to look, because it always did feel like, well,
Des
probably
was
not to
always
you,
old,
but
wasn't he?
like to the rest of us.
He's born
Des
old,
Lynam
Benjamin
looked quite
Button.
old.
But Lineker, I think Lineker's been great. I'll miss him. I think he's been very good at Match of the Day. But I think they've got a good roster coming into replacement. Kelly Cates
Kelly
Yeah.
Cates.
was on Have I Got News For You last week. I noticed so she's starting to get a kind of a profile raised a bit. It's Mark Chapman.
Chappaz?
Not the one who shot John Lennon, though.
Is that Douglas's daughter?
Chapaz, no, it's Mark Chapman, not Chapaz.
Chappaz.
Mark
I think
Chapman.
so, yeah.
Chappaz.
Yeah, Douglas's daughter.
Douglas's daughter. Yeah.
Gabby Logan.
And then Gabby Logan.
Uh,
Castle fan though.
Yeah, I she worked for Metro, didn't she, back in the day, like in the mid-90s, I think she did
So it's sad that Lineker's
Gabby
gone,
Yorath, she was then.
but
another netball baby.
there is another presenter, and we're not so sad about this other presenter leaving. Rio Ferdinand is off.
I think about you.
No, oh, that's not very good.
I'll be very
Rio
sad.
Ferdinand is off.
Is he going to somewhere else or like just taking away from the statement that he put out was I'm leaving the game and doing other things kind of away from football. So he's not going to rock up on
I
another.
think he'll be leaving presenting punditry work, but you'll still be invested in what he does with his podcast, which is football based.
Yes, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him rock up on the likes of
Trial.
Well, I was more going down the line of seeing him rock up on Middle Eastern TV.
Oh, with
I see.
Keys and Gray, are they?
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't think he'd be quite in the same graveyard as Keys and Gray, like, but I think he'd.
I think he'd want to go and live over there in the sunshine, get a lot of tax-free money, and
welcome
It's
to
a
him.
great gig, though, isn't it? When you think, I used to always think that when he was on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, like he's traveling to the, the best games, on the side of the pitch and stuff. Obviously, getting great,
And he's
meeting the players.
never
no?
been very good.
No, he's not great
He's
at all.
terrible.
No, he's always been bad. Like his insights are very poor. He's never really got anything decent to say.
He's got no personality.
I mean, you've been here long enough.
True
and
enough.
Just the
True
same.
enough. True enough. Well, I thought Janus was bad. And I know he's been bitten off for other reasons, right? And he's never getting a gig anyway since. And it was always Rio Finn. I was next to me going, Jesus Lord, like he just does me in. And like I don't even like Owen Hargreaves either. To be honest, I actually don't like much of TNT's coverage. I don't like Joe Cole. There's loads of them.
I think Joe Cole's okay.
I don't think Joe Cole's
right.
I like McCoist. I like Crouch.
Yes, I
and
do
Crouch
like
is on
McCoist.
there.
I like the journalists. I like Julian Leron and James Hallcastle with the silly haircut. And who else is there? Does Game Ballagher still do bits and pieces? Or he?
Nah, very rare.
Has he finished
Very,
now?
very rare.
He does a few
Very
things in
rare.
the Sky, does he not?
Occasionally he comes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
for like.
Rarely.
Yeah.
You
Remember
should have
Revista?
Oh.
Revista was the one. It was great. that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
If you're picking a punditry team, though,
Uh-huh.
okay, let's pick a punditry team, right?
Yeah.
3 people that you want featuring your punditry
So we're talking about a commentator, a co-commentator, and a presenter.
and a
maybe.
presenter. Let's say
Let's do that. Then. Okay.
I'm gonna put we'll put one in because I think we'll all be in agreement with McCoist.
I'm saying McCoist. I'm gonna say John Champion with McCoist because they work really well together.
Yeah, I'm going to
Wood
go against
Deckers.
the grain, like.
Who? Oh,
Tyler and
I
Gray.
thought you said Andy Gray.
Tyler and Gray.
Back in the day,
Back
they
in the
were
day were the
very, very good.
absolute
Mm.
best. Martin Tyler was incredible until the
He
era
did,
where
like, didn't
oh
he?
my
He
god,
did
yeah, massively.
You really
I'm
dropped off.
absolutely aware. I know that.
Some
But
of
I'm
the clips
talking
of his
about
commentary is unbelievable.
Oh,
when-
it's
when somebody scores against like
Yeah.
Man United, and you say, "Oh, they scored."
yeah, it's like he's annoyed. It's
It's
weird, isn't it?
awful.
Yeah, I loved Tyler and Gray like a great Tyler. I
they
really
were
did.
very good.
They were amazing.
Nah, McCoist and Champion for me, definitely.
The sound of BBC though can only be one man on Match of the Day.
Tony Gubber.
You going to say John?
Gerald Sinstad.
It's got to be Motti, doesn't it?
John Motson.
Motti was unbelievable.
Like John Champion, Barry Davis. There's a few, wasn't it, that were really
Barry
good.
Davis was good. Like
Yeah, really good. Like as soon as you hear them,
Brian Moore as well, right? He was on ITV when we
he
were
was,
kids, but he was
yeah.
I like Clive Tilsley as well.
Like
Tilsley,
Tilsey, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a shout.
more
Like Clive
recently.
Tilsley.
You know that you don't know what you've
He's
got. Let's go
definitely
on.
better than Matterface.
Well,
I
that-
cannot stand
When he
Matterface.
got bumped for Matterface, it was like, oh, hang on a sec, this is
Yeah,
this is-
So
this is
strange,
bad
that
news.
isn't it? Yeah.
Was he doing the ITV coverage?
Yes,
for,
covered for a
coverage
long
for the
time,
likes
yeah.
of the tournaments and stuff like that. He was, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
World Cups, Euros.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Man. I used to love, the Champions League on ITV. I just loved the coverage. I loved it. And you used to have he was the goalkeeper of Arsenal. What was he called again?
David Seaman.
No. Yeah,
Oh, Pat Jennings. No, Rick Clemens.
was it really?
Oh,
Bob Wilson.
Bob Wilson.
He did Grandstand as well, didn't he?
Grandstand as well.
Grandstand,
Yeah. God, we're going back. But yeah,
I just love Grandstanding.
Yeah, I love Grandstand, yeah.
Dickie
like-
Davies.
Showing your
Yeah.
age
Was
now,
that him?
boys.
what was the one with the two of them?
Stephen Greavesy.
Yes, loved that
Brilliant.
show as well.
Oh, yeah.
Loved that
Crazy,
show.
That was class.
Really good show.
Remember World of Sport on Channel 4?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That used to be incredible. That.
Soccer
All
AM
the
used to be
different
big.
sports
Yeah,
from
it
all
wasn't
around the world.
Just enjoy
Yeah.
Trans World Sport.
Do you know what?
Same
Yeah.
kind of thing, yeah.
It's funny I see it on Facebook quite often where it's like you just would never get away with this now.
What
And
an
it's the
age.
highlights of like the bit
Soccer, right?
when I saw AM when they had the last
Great
couple of
age,
stuff,
great
and
age.
you're like, you just could not. you just
Grim
could
stuff
not
like,
get away
yeah,
with
it is.
One of my exes was a soccer, right?
Huh?
But that was the culture at the time of the whole lad culture.
Oh, no, yeah,
and-
well, I'm
It was
just,
at the
yeah,
tail
yeah.
end of it, wasn't it?
I used to
Yeah, it was,
absolutely
it
love the
was,
show. I
that's
thought
how
it was
things
great. Like, you know what I mean? And then as soon as I finished the 12 o'clock game or the half 12 game would be on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a great lineup. There's also been a lot of changes at Sky. I'm not the only one getting. I'm not the only one getting paid off.
Thankfully, Melissa Reddy's gone.
Yeah,
End
there's
of the
there's
season,
seven.
she
I
was
think, isn't there?
horrendous.
6 or 7 that have gone. So you've got the host of the show. Is it Football Daily or whatever it was called? They have the ref watch on.
Uh-huh.
They've been in that show. That's
Oh,
going.
Redwood's gone, aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
It's a
host
shame,
of
'cause I
that
like
show,
that.
he's been there for 25 years. He used to do all the Spanish coverage when Bex was there because I used to always watch it then when he used to host that show.
Oh.
He's going. They're also getting rid of who's she again?
Melissa Reddy, she's
Melissa Reddy,
she's gone. She's gone.
Sorry,
yeah.
who is a great choice to be fair because it's just men. But yeah, so there's a lot. I think,
Do
in
you
my
think that
opinion,
means there's more content creators
That's-
coming on board.
that's
I think
exactly what's going to
yeah.
happen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Mm.
Yeah. Cheap labour, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even pay half of them.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they're just getting them on because they can get maybe people watching, but also doesn't cost them very much.
The overlap when we done it, it was you don't get paid. So this was a few years back. So I'm guessing some of them probably will
Well,
get away.
the likes of the ones that we've been speaking about
They'll get
before,
something.
they'll
get
yeah,
something.
get
But when
appearances
we
and stuff
did
like
it,
that.
they said they will pay expenses. So if you got the train or your fuel down there, and they'll say the coverage and the
Exposure.
that you'll get from the show, it'll help, but you don't get much from it. Like you don't get much exposure at all.
You get a lot of abuse mainly.
The fan debate, it seemed like it was on in a period almost like twice a week, and they were on all the time. I think, well, they mustn't work, like, because like you kind of, you know what I mean? How many days off there I was there? But anyway, you know, it is what it is. But
It's all changed now. It's all done in an actual studio now. Whereas
It was a warehouse.
the first time it was a nightclub. It was a nightclub. The
Yeah.
first time we did like an underground nightclub. The second time was at the very top on the 4G pitch of Gary Neville's hotel, that football hotel.
Hotel
club.
football.
yeah.
Very top on there. Now it's in the studio somewhere.
I've stayed in there before, actually. It's-
It's right near Old Trafford, isn't it?
Yeah,
Stone throw.
literally
Yeah.
right next door. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. This wasn't what we had planned.
Oh, I was going to complain about Peter Drury next time.
Oh God. Aye.
Yeah, but $2.99 for this. See you later. What you do?